participants in this class. The topic of tonight is ancient civilizations and their impact on our diet and on this planet. We're going to talk about why ancient civilizations are part of our process and how they have influenced our consciousness and how we are linked to their traditions and their habits, and what's the connection between our tendency now to go on a lighter diet and the practices that they had in ancient times. We're going to also talk, as we began the other day, we're going to also talk and approach the topic of the megalithic structures and sacred sites and how ancient civilizations have had an impact in such areas, the areas of vortexes and energy, special energy places of the planet. And we're going to kind of link the dots, connect the dots between the food habits and the fuel they were consuming and the fuel we are consuming now, and the sacred sites they were visiting and worshiping or connecting with, and the habits they developed in terms of energy practices. So tonight it's very powerful in terms of topic. We're going to run through the highest of the highest perspectives of what planet Earth can encompass or have. And we're going to be with you on Facebook for about 30 minutes. If you want to join the full webinar, including a powerful meditation at the end, where we're going to connect with light beings all over the world, just make sure you join the full webinar or the full class. Run through the highest of the highest. Okay, so happy to be with you and really grateful for your participation here. Please, if you have any questions on this topic, the subject of ancient civilizations, or the topic of megalithic structures, or the topic of the food habits and free energy habits or free energy access that ancient civilizations are proven to have had, just ask them in all these questions in the comments. You are able to access the comments on Instagram, as you know. On Facebook, if the comments area doesn't work, just send me a direct message. I'm going to see it and reply to you. Make sure you send it during the live video. If you send it after, it might be replied a little later. And the ones on Zoom, you know how to use the chat box. And if you're on YouTube, in watching the Zoom video on YouTube, you can also comment there. The comment area is, if you scroll down, it's right below the video, or it's to the right of the video if you're on a computer screen. So let's jump in the topic of tonight. Any questions so far on ancient civilizations? Do you have any insight to bring in? When we talk on ancient civilizations, we refer first of all to the Lemurian and Atlantean cultures, and extrapolate to the cultures who are said to have built megalithic structures like the pyramids in Egypt and the sites in Turkey, pyramids and sites like Göbekli Tepe, and other sites across the globe, including some of the sites in Romania, the temples and Sphinx in Romania. We have a Romanian Sphinx here that's connected to the Egyptian Sphinx. By the way, I don't know if you've known this, and I'm living right next to it. There's many other sites in Romania that are similar to the ones in Göbekli in Turkey, similar to the ones in Peru. They can be connected, or there can be linked to other important sacred sites of the globe, Stonehenge or Glastonbury and so on. So we are part of a vast human or interplanetary civilization that has lived on Earth and not only here. I believe and feel and have seen evidence of the fact that the civilization we're talking about is actually not just Earth, but interplanetary civilizations. They might have had the ability to travel through space and have help several races, including the human race, to evolve. We have just posted on our Facebook page, which is Cristiana Eltrayan, like my name. We have just posted on our Facebook page an important video from Gaia that is linking the development of human civilization and the building of sacred sites. It is linking it to certain alteration of the grains and foods that have been on the planet. So in other words, it has been proven that, for example, in certain areas in Turkey, at certain point there has been a new type of grain have been found, a genetically modified type of grain has been found in the area of Göbekli Tepe of Turkey, and the apparition or the development of such grains is linked to the evolution of human civilization, because apparently in these sites where this type of grains have appeared, this type of grains being genetically modified, also advanced practices and advanced monuments of the human civilizations have also appeared. So, for example, this type of grain have been discovered in Turkey and along Egypt, and also in the same areas there are megalithic structures like Göbekli Tepe and the pyramids. So this video is stating that there might have been a direct connection between the learning of cultivating new types of foods, therefore ingesting a new type of energy or a new type of information, and the development of the brain and intelligence of the species that have also learned to not only cultivate but develop their culture in terms of constructions, in terms of usage of energy, in terms of many other things. So it seems that once you take a more evolved type of fuel, a more evolved type of food, a food that is nourishing you on a deeper level and helping your brain and your functions to develop, you tend to get smarter, you tend to get more intuitive, you tend to get more connected, and you tend to have better results in your work and therefore in your species. Or at least this is what's been proven due to the discoveries of these ancient cultures having had, at a certain time in the history of humanity, having had a different type of food and having had enhanced capacities, while before this type of food they were hunter-gatherers and they were living of hunting and wandering around the earth. After the apparition of such grains and such cultivated crops, it seems that they have developed the ability to gather around in communities, building megalithic structures and places of prayer and worshiping. Therefore, this proves they have developed a higher state of consciousness where they were relating to higher or more evolved realms of existence that they were praying to. Most of them, they were praying to sun, but also some of them, they were praying to sun gods, which are more evolved beings that are more evolved in consciousness. And so the ability of mankind to expand consciousness is directly linked to their cultivation of food, it seems. and their evolution of the quality of the fuel that they were intaking. So they were no longer just hunting and slaying animals for eating, but they were cultivating crops, probably moving into a more plant-based type of diet that was relying on cereals and grains. And therefore, probably their digestion and their whole system, including the DNA, as it has been proven, might have been upgraded, right? So this is what we were saying through the whole Pranic process for 8 years now, that once you upgrade the quality of your fuel, the quality of your food, your whole body, including your intelligence and your DNA, are upgrading. And you actually become smarter and more intuitive when you upgrade and when you lighten up your diet. And we've been telling this forever, and I'm really happy now that science is backing it up with proven evidence of Asian civilizations having had the same experience of once they changed their diet, they changed their whole way of being and their whole rhythm in their evolution, which is so powerful in itself, uh, with proving the impact of diet and fuel on your whole consciousness. Of course, we're not to state that we believe that only the change in diet has helped the Egyptian build the pyramids, or the people in the Turkish area help them build Göbekli Tepe just because they became smarter by lightening up the diet and not eating so many animals. I'm not saying that specifically. I want to, emphasize that there were also other um, ways that help them enhance their consciousness. And from the poor hunter-gatherers that they were, all of a sudden to build megalithic structures like the pyramids, it doesn't only require a change in diet. It's a huge leap in consciousness that we need to wonder and ponder upon if we are to be really honest in the evolution of our species. But we do say, however, that diet has had an important role, because when you eat lighter food, and your digestion is not so slow and your whole body processes are not so challenging, then you are able to use your energy for something else, and you're able to think quicker, and you're able to move quicker and have more freedom of movement than in the situation where your body is really, really heavy and your digestion is heavy. Actually, there's a direct connection. This, what I'm saying now, is very powerful, and I would love you to comprehend it fully. There's a direct connection between the freedom of movement that you have and the lightening of your digestion and diet. The more you lighten up your diet, the more you can move, not only physically in terms of the um, smoothness of your moves and the flexibility of your body, but also the ability to move around. There's a deeper explanation on this topic, that has to do with the chakras, and each chakra is connected to a certain area of your life. So this specific thing is connected to the solar plexus, and how the solar plexus is decluttered when you eat less or none at all. And being decluttered, you can actually move around much, because solar plexus is connected to all movement. All that you move in your life has to do with the solar plexus. When the solar plexus is freer and more harmonious as chakra, you can move around much quicker, much more effectively, and the feeling of feeling trapped to a certain area or to a certain um, situation is no longer there. But that's a deeper thing to ponder upon, and there's I don't know that there's any scientific evidence to this, so I'm just stating it from the ancient yogi tradition, the knowledge of the sages now is not the knowledge of the science. But then again, the mystic knowledge is just science that's yet undiscovered. So we just need to wait and see to the day that this will be also confirmed, because the things we were saying for 10 years now, the science is starting to back up with it, and I'm loving the scientists that are open to study these perspectives. However, back to ancient civilizations, I was saying that for sure it wasn't only the diet that has helped the hunter-gatherers to all of a sudden develop the knowledge of building megalithic structures and putting them all together in a cosmologically aligned way, and aligning them to planetary movements and so on. That, of course, it's not just because they ate cereals and grains instead of animals, but it did have a powerful impact. And every time you fast, as you've noticed, many of you, you become more connected, more intuitive, you become smarter, you become lighter, you become more flexible, you become more self-confident, right? And so what helped them connect to such sources of information that has taught them to build such megalithic structures and evolve their civilization was also their changes in their diet. Once again, now the planet is in such moment of planetary evolution, where we move from a Neanderthalian way of approaching the diet, where we got into developing fast foods and fried, frozen to fried products that we ingest and move through our bodies, that don't bring any energy but do produce a lot of waste, which to me is the Neanderthal of nourishment, as I said. We evolved from that to maybe more vegetable and fruit-based diet. We evolved to more raw and unprocessed foods that are more natural. And we evolved to eventually more liquid food, which is basically blending or juicing the fruits and vegetables, which gives you the same nutrients minus the waste. So if you think of it from the perspective of an evolved being, which I have invited you to look, at right from the beginning. So we keep inviting people during this process to look at all their lives and all their habits and all their choices from the perspective of an evolved being. What would a light being do? What would an evolved being do? What would representative of an advanced civilization do, right? So including today, we invite you to look at lighter diet and liquid diet from the perspective of an evolved being. And from that perspective of an evolved being, you would clearly and easily understand that with liquid diet, aka soups and juices, you can have the same amount of nutrients, the same or even better calorie intake, because you can take more and not have so much waste in the body. So your stomach is not full of waste. It's full of highly packed nutrients when you drink a juice or a smoothie, right? You discard the waste in juicing at least, and it's directly absorbed or more quicker absorbed into the blood, not involving a long digestive process that has to break down that matter. And you are more effective in your food management, which means you're making less effort and you gain more nutrients. So from that perspective of an evolved being that doesn't fear that you're going to die without solid food, you surely can understand how easy it is to live on juices and smoothies and soups. That's just what we recommend now in this pranic process. We don't want to jump into water fasting or dry fasting. That is for the connoisseurs, for the ones that have practiced, that practices in this process long enough to balance their bodies. But we do recommend try at least for a week to go on liquid diet, put all the nutrients, all the, you know, protein and calcium and whatever you need from things that you can blend, and drink those things for a week and tell me after a week, how are you feeling? And try to educate your mind during that week that liquid food is still food and still has nutrients, right? And you don't need to chew and digest for hours in order to be nourished. You can just drink the thing and just have enough for the day, you know, in terms of calories and nutrients and such. I was reading, in Romania, we have a very interesting book called Life on Gaia. Unfortunately, it's still not translated in English, even though I'm praying for it. This book, Life on Gaia, whoever wants to translate it, I'm going to send it to them, and you can translate it in English from Romanian. It's really, really important for the human civilization that they read it. This book is channeled from advanced civilizations, you know, from Lyra, from Sirius, from Andromeda, and so on. They have gathered together and downloaded this book, you know, to humanity long time ago in the 90s, you know. And so in the 90s, this book has issued, and it has been explaining how important it is for us to go food not processed and not cooked and genetically modified, of course, and then to go in liquid diet. So they were saying that once you go from a normal diet to natural products, fruits and vegetables, unprocessed, so raw food. Once you go into raw food, you have 10 times more energy than in normal diet. Once you go into liquid diet, you have 100 times more energy and consciousness and accuracy. So imagine the degree of accuracy that a person with 100 times more energy than you can have. I'm just suggesting that you can try it and then tell me what you feel. This is what happened long time ago when human civilization was smarter, was more connected, and was more open. In the times of Atlantean and Lemuria, we didn't need solid food the way we do now, and we didn't use solid food the way we use now. Actually, it was solid food in all advanced civilizations is an enjoyment to some. To some, it doesn't even exist or is necessary, but to some is just an enjoyment, like you can materialize a mango in the palm of your hand and eat it for the pleasure of it, but not for the necessity of chewing or swallowing or digesting anything, right? So this is the perspective of an advanced civilization. Um, Again, you don't need to trust me. You can, you know, there's various ways which you can make contact with such civilizations, either by going in the moment of the life of advanced civilizations that have been on Earth, like Atlantean and Lemuria, you know, meditate, do regressions, whatever you prefer, or by just directly connecting to the ones existing today that are available for contact, because so many now from the inner Earth and exoplanetary civilizations are ready for contact, and you can anytime ask and receive guidance. Just make sure that you filter your contact like we always do. We ask that only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now. So when I state that only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now, is like a filter and a mantra and a grid of selection for the contact that you are connected to. So every time you meditate, we recommend that you say this. We ask that only the beings of the purest light and love can be present energetically and telepathically with us now. So that in your meditation, when you open up for contact, when you open up for guidance, when you open up to like be in a dialogue with the universe, you are only contacted by the highest sources of information and knowledge and energy, right? Because many beings want to be of service or to connect, not necessarily for service, but you have to filter out what you're connecting to. And that's how you get the best, most accurate, and most harmonious information. Hi, Mother Jaguar. So happy to see you, and happy to see you, Beatrice and Savitri Cora and Tej US. I see someone here, and so many others who are joining. Really, really grateful for your presence. So these advanced civilizations, as I said, they're ready for contact. They're happy to be with us and join our gatherings and share information that is useful. And they have been in contact with earthlings since the beginning of time. And that's how we have actually developed such advanced technologies on the planet in the past, in what we call past, in terms of building pyramids, which were energy devices, or building temples, which are energy transmitters, or building obelisks, which are again energy receivers and transmitters, and also they are energy generators. There's much to discuss on this, but we have learned to build all these constructions first on to mark the place that is in a high energy place or a vortex, and secondly to be able to gather and diffuse that energy or expand it, right? So we had this knowledge during the times of Atlantean and Lemuria. We had the knowledge of harnessing energy in our own bodies. That's why so many of you are now called to pranic processes and pranic nourishment, because you are actually the representatives of these civilizations, and you're actually, just remembering, and your heart call is pumping you or pushing you to just go back to where you once belonged in terms of consciousness, right? So that's why so many now on the planet are awakening and going into lighter diets and fastings and various types of healings and meditations and initiations, because you've already had these initiations and practices before, and now you just need to remember. So when you remember, you just, in a very short time, to some, you just go back to the abilities and the vastness of the consciousness and the freedom that you once had, and even beyond it. So all you need to do is for you to try and open to remember. First step. Then lighten up your diet, of course, so that you can reconnect to that state of consciousness, and do the practices that we're recommending in this process, so that you can upgrade your system. The physical, emotional, mental, energetic system needs to be upgraded because you've been sleeping for a while. And it's normal. We all did, I included. We all slept, we woke up, we're starting to remember. We have to upgrade our system to be able to embody our light. And that's what's necessary for us now. That's what we need to do. That's the upgrade in consciousness that's coming back now on the planet. We have to get ready for it, and we have to get ready now. Before you leave Earth, before something happens to your body and disintegrates it, because, there's high levels of energy coming in now, and you have to be able to encompass it. Like 380 cannot flow through a 220 cable. You have to upgrade the cable to have more electricity. Same with your body. if you want to incorporate higher levels of energy, you have to upgrade the cable, which is your body, right? That's why we're doing this process. Every time we do it, it's just yet another layer of energy upgrade. That's why we had people doing the process 7 times. You know, they did the process 7 times just because every time there's a new layer. It's not the same class, it's not the same words, it's not the same energy, even though it's the same girl sitting in front of you, apparently, right? So the good news is we're actually starting a new one on April 3rd. I just been guided today, an hour ago, to start a new one on April 3rd. I wasn't thinking of it because I was thinking that I was going to travel, but on April 3rd, we do start a new process, probably to prepare for the Easter, which is a huge energy upgrade for the planet with the Christ energy and very powerful energies that are very important for our system. So probably that's why we do such a close one, you know, one very close to the one we're ending today, just because the people need to upgrade really, really quick now because Easter is coming and Easter is powerful. So Easter is also a very important feast in ancient civilizations, right? It was the feast of enhanced um, harvest, and it had to do also with love and sexual energy. So the ancient value and meaning of Easter in cultures like Egypt had a much more powerful significance, and some of that significance has been taken out from the Easter thing that we now have. Yet it's still powerful because now it's addressed to the Christ, and the Christ is a powerful being. So it's still very, very powerful. Yet only that in the past it was dedicated to celebrating the feminine energy and the springing out of the femininity and feminine power and abundance and crops and rebirth and so on. So look it up to see what it truly means, even though it still has a powerful meaning to this day, and it's still important that we upgrade our bodies to be able to encompass these energies as well. So a new process starting April 3rd. The link is in the description of the video for those of you who want to join. Just book your places. It's so wonderful when you start booking your places, because you just get into this bubble of energy of the participants that are starting to be prepared for the new upgrade. So even though it hasn't started yet, it's still really, really powerful to be already booked, because it starts working on you on some degree. I've had people that have booked 3 weeks in advance, and for 3 weeks they couldn't eat, so they had only liquids. That's the power of this process. We don't do anything to you, but it's just the energy working in a specific way, and it's working powerfully, right? So advanced civilizations do have, so I'm placing the link in the comments for you on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. If you want to see details about the Pranic process online starting in April, you just go in the bio and you see there all the details on this, because we're preparing to end the video on Instagram and Facebook, and we want to make sure that you are able to have all the information. Also, you can join this one. We have a powerful meditation tonight. You can join webinar by webinar or the whole thing. And the whole thing is in video. So whatever we did till this day is already recorded, and you can access it in the video version. So that's also available. Let us know if that catches your, if you feel your heart being called to this. So we've been talking about the connection between ancient civilizations and food intake and megalithic structures or sacred sites of the planet, and how The ancient civilizations of the planet, like the Lemurian, Atlanteans, and the civilization that came right after the hunter-gatherers, like almost like a miracles. The human civilization has evolved from hunter-gatherers to very advanced species knowing how to build pyramids um, that are cosmically aligned and have very deep the coordinates of pyramids are amazing in terms of how they are connected to the planetary coordinates, the coordinates of the moon and sun, the cosmic alignment to Orion's belt, there's other megalithic structures aligned to Orion's belt as well. How they are constructed to incorporate and generate energy, the connection between the pyramid's chambers and the structure of the energetic system of the humans. So each chamber is connected to a chakra of the human system. All that knowledge from a hunter-gatherer civilization, right? Like, I'm gonna laugh about it for 1,000 years if I still hear that version. I have to. It's compulsory to laugh when you hear that, so that it doesn't in some way sneak into your subconscious that such a thing would be true. They weren't built by hunter-gatherers. They were built by advanced civilization who knew how to dematerialize stones and rematerialize them or redensify them and build very accurately aligned constructions with very highly accuracy and parameters. That's how they were built. And not only civilizations that had been housed on Earth, but as I said, intergalactic collaboration. Because when you are on a planet as this one and you have so much energy and so much things to harvest, and that's an important thing to look at how advanced civilizations are, because some are here to bring light and some are here to harvest, and the ones who are here to harvest are not so advanced. Because when you're self-sufficient, you need not harvesting anything. You have everything, right? You have free energy, you have everything. You don't need to visit other planets to extract fuel. That's also an important thing to understand. But and if it's too quick for you, I'm sorry to make a whole bundle of this whole information. Is just how it flows in. Just type yes in the comments if you can relate, because I know it's too vast and too quick, but it's just necessary that we download this in this way. It comes with powerful light codes, and you might actually understand it later if you try. It's just that now we have very little time in terms of before we end this video, and we need to transmission this whole to you. Any questions so far on ancient civilizations, on megalithic structures, or on free energy? Another thing, these civilizations knew how to harness free energy, obviously, right? They did build megalithic structure for the purpose. So pyramids were free energy devices, or like I said, structures that were built to harness and generate energy. And not only in megalithic structures, but in their bodies, they knew how to work with free energy, which meant that they were food autonomous. A civilization cannot build free energy devices until they mastered their own bodies as free energy devices. That's the universal law, the universal rule. Whoever disagrees, I'm sorry, guys, we need to understand the full meaning of as above, so below. You can only create what you can understand. You can only generate what you've encompassed in your physical vessel. You can only manifest what your physical vessel, which is the body, has already manifested in itself. That's the law of the universe. If you haven't been able to harness free energy, In your body, you will not be given the coordinates and the permission to build free energy generators, because you will self-destruct or you will destroy your civilization the way you did with Hiroshima and other things when you were given too much information too soon. The humanity needs to attain a certain level of consciousness that implies autonomy, which is food freedom, energy freedom, in order to receive the next level in device usage, which will be used harmoniously and, you know, in love and collaboration, and not for fighting and destroying others. That's why so far humanity has not have access in this day, I mean, not in the past, in this day has not have access to the free energy devices that are already available, because they will not use them harmoniously yet, as we're still in the fight and conquer mode. This will not be given to us, and we'll only be out of the fight and conquer mode when we're gonna be energy autonomous, because the biggest wars in this galaxy are not for fuel or energy in terms of money or petrol or any types of fuel that can power up ships or vessels. The biggest wars in this galaxy are for inner energy and consciousness. So to enslave and harness the powers of other beings. This is what the biggest wars in the galactic realm are for. Do not kid yourself that if a civilization would have energy powered vessels, they wouldn't fight each other. Yes, they will. They still do in certain galactic realms. So only the civilizations who have been evolved enough to master free energy in their bodies or their beings, some don't even need a body, are completely free from the need of conquering and fighting others, and are completely into the realm of collaboration and contact with love and harmony. Type yes if you can resonate. So this has been a transmission full end to end. I haven't thought of this. It's just something that comes. And I know some of you resonate or get goosebumps and or other sensations in your body. I would love to know if you're in that category. Yes, sure. I was guessing that. Yes, because this is a truth. And this is a message to our scientists, physicists, and others who are researching and or are interested in free energy devices. Try to learn it in yourself. Try to develop it as a civilization, and then you will have the vehicles or devices as quick as this, only when you are autonomous, so that you don't need to draw energy from other beings or have power over their bodies or energy or consciousness, because we are not supporting the games of power. We're only supporting the games of love, and only for that you will have the right resources. Yeah, end of transmission. I see some questions. What's the best way to start generating energy in oneself? Well, you see, meditation is one of the best ways, and very happy for your questions, because this is what we've been speaking about for 8 days. If you haven't been from the beginning, this is a process of 8 days, or a program of 8 days, in which we actually explain how to generate energy in oneself with the practices, techniques, and body programming to be able to understand and encompass that you can generate energy within yourself. But the first step is to go within and focus within and see what's there. That would be the first step. Second step is start practicing yoga, qigong, and other types of movement that has to do with embodying and generating energy. And third step is make it your lifestyle. All this stuff that we're talking about, make it your lifestyle, not just a once in a while event that I from time to time meditate if I remember, or I from time to time do some qigong if I get the chance. It's not a thing of getting the chance. You either are connected to energy or not. So yes, as I was saying, there's a new 8-day program starting on April 3rd that you can join if interested in this, or there's the video version of this one, and all details are linked in and are at the link in bio at Pranic Process Online. Somebody else asks or adds something. Let's see. Yogi tradition speaks about food. Pathya is the way to increase the sattvic quality. Yes, we have to explain what sattvic quality is. Thank you for adding this. Sattvic quality is the quality of the stillness or peace of mind. Peace of mind means when your thoughts are consciously generated instead of randomly generated. You know, peace of mind is the point where you actually choose when and if to think. The same way you choose to drink water, the same way you choose to rub your nose. Thinking is a function of your bodies. It's not something that should happen randomly. So you can choose to activate or deactivate that function. But that requires mind mastery and requires practice, and this practice comes with meditation and breath work. So therefore, that's the sattvic state. That's the possibility of either using or not using your mind. Your mind is not a permanent chatting device. It is a tool for calculating or organizing things if necessary. Some of us can organize things without thinking. Some of us can also calculate without thinking, because you just connect to universal source and get the result of the calculus. That's also possible. So the mind is optional, actually. That's what I'm saying. The mind can be optional, and some choose to still use it, but it can also be completely turned off if necessary. And in turning it off, you're not going nuts or brainless. You just connect to a higher source or the higher mind, the universal mind that has all the information. So basically, you don't need to use your mind when you're connected to a mind that has all the information, or to a source that has all the information, because there's nothing to look for. Basically, you don't need to look for answers in your mind. You don't need to look for solutions in your mind. They are limited anyway. Sorry, I mean, I'm not putting anyone down. It's just that there's not so much information in your field compared to the universal field. You know, when you're one with the universal field, yes, but when you're just limited to your own mind's field, not so much. I mean, you're limiting yourself by using the mind so much, right? And this has connection to the beta, alpha, and theta state that we keep talking about. So if there's no further questions for tonight's live in Facebook or Insta, we're preparing to end it. Shoot your last comments or questions if you have any, and we're going with the team on Zoom because we need to be with them for the final meditation and connect to some higher energies of ancient civilizations and advanced civilization to see what's coming up for tonight. Because as we complete the Pranic process of 8 days tonight, we're celebrating it intergalactically. That's how we do these processes. It's not just me speaking here. It's 8 ascended masters that have created the process and some dozens of intergalactic beings participating. The fact that I'm aware of being intergalactic and not just human is another important aspect that we all can attain as pranic consciousness. We invite you to that anytime you feel called to. Big hugs, link in comments to join the whole thing, or just type yes in the comments. We'll include you in the video, in the Zoom meditation, and you can then make the payments later if you want to be for this evening or for the whole process.